Welcome back to another episode of the Quack Report, Ducks fans. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Nate, how's it going today?
Well, before we got on here, we were dying of fucking laughter thanks to Twitter.
We were having a good time. Yeah.
Oh man.
Just before we get into that, sorry. I just want to say, if you're a fan of more than one team, like if you're a Ducks fan plus something else, you can't listen to this episode. That's because apparently that's not allowed.
Yeah, not allowed apparently.
True veteran Ducks fans are allowed to listen to this. So that's all from me. Because I am not a true veteran Ducks fan, apparently.
Apparently I'm not either. Carter's gone, so I guess we'll catch you guys later. No, I'm kidding. Oh no, wait, how do we do this? Oh, there. Oh
shit, we both.
I'm the producer on this shit. Leave it alone.
I just like to feel involved.
You run the show, dude. The wheel is in your hands most of the time. Oh, anyway, though, yeah, basically we were laughing because there's, if you're on Ducks Twitter, unfortunately, you probably know who this guy is too.
No, I wouldn't even say unfortunately, dude. This is one of the greatest things to happen all week.
It's unfortunate because everything is just negative from this guy's account, but it's fortunate because everything he says, like how I was describing it earlier, was there's some people that you purely follow just to see the stupid shit that they say. And this is one of those guys, honestly. I don't suggest following him because it's kind like, obviously followers aren't everything, but it's kind of funny to see him still like below 20, I think it is. Mm-hmm. But he just he gets up in everybody's shit. He's even gotten up in ours on the Quack Report account. It's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah. But also, sorry, I keep interrupting you, but we just, from both of us at the Quack Report, we don't condone bullying. Jesus, that should not have been hard to say. We don't. No. There's no place for bullying in this world, but some people, exceptions can be made. There's an exception to every rule.
There's a difference between bullying, I think, and putting somebody in their place. And what we were laughing about was somebody getting put in their place. It was a bully getting put in their place.
Yeah. Kind
of going off about, you're not a real fan, whether it's the Ducks or any other team. Mm-hmm. You're not a real fan of them unless you only cheer for that team. Right. And I even put a thing, and he was, this guy was going off about original content as well. And I don't even know. But so then I was just laughing and I put a comment myself of covers the Ducks, puts out content, but is a fan of two teams. Guess I'm not a real hockey fan then. Fuck me, right? Yeah. I'm only actually making money off of this shit.
Yeah.
Come on. But oh man, the fucking comments to it, yeah. Again, I'll stress that there's no place for bullying, but there's definitely a place for putting somebody in their place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, it's drastically different. So.
Yeah. So, and this was a great example of somebody getting put in their place. And thank you for the laughs. I was literally choking on my spit because of laughter. And God, it was so funny. And I'm still seeing replies go in and stuff like that here. So it's what did we say it was at? There's the dude's getting ratioed hardcore. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
it's I don't know, man. I guess to spin it into more of a positive outcome, I guess, from this is we can see the Ducks Twitter community come together to bash this guy and kind of just I don't know, I guess stand up for Ducks fans and hockey fans. Which is nice that there isn't so many other guys that think this way. It seems, like you said, he's getting ratioed hard. I haven't seen one person tweet anything in support of this guy.
No. And basically it actually looks like the guy that, or the girl, sorry, that he was bashing for this and whatnot kind of thing. Actually has a history with the Ducks organization, which makes this even more funny.
Yeah.
So And yeah, somebody else just talking about, again, followers aren't everything, but they're talking about his followers, like, oh, is he still sitting at this? And and then somebody tagged us saying that we jumped ship. Yeah, I didn't realize I was still following him actually with the Quack Report Twitter. So that was a pretty quick. Yeah, we're done with this. So
yeah,
I'm just kind of laughing at all of this though. So
yeah, and there's been some good replies in there too. So
oh yeah, there have been some hilarious replies. Like especially Carter, I love chirps.
Yeah,
like, and there have been some good ones in there. Like that was the stuff that was just like, making me choke on my own spit from laughter and stuff like that. It was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically don't be a gatekeeping asshole.
That's really what it comes down to. Yeah.
Who are trying to get into the sport or are already in the sport, right? And do actually know what they're talking about. Like, yeah, just don't be a gatekeeping dude. Like, don't be a gatekeeper. Like, there's no place for that. Like, the whole point is to try, as much as hockey is big, it's not big compared to, soccer, football, or basketball kind of thing, right?
It's the smallest sport in North America out of the big four. And it's not even close.
Yeah, like the NHL, as not great as it is trying to grow the sport itself, right? You have the growth of women's hockey as well with the PWH, I believe is what it's called now. No, PWF, sorry. Professional.
Remind me
Women's Federation. Oh my God, why am I forgetting this new name? My apologies. But it was the NWHL.
Yeah.
Crap, what's it called now? But yeah, you have like the growth from there. PWF? No. PHF. Yeah, the PHF. Sorry, the Premier Hockey Federation. Yeah, that's the women's league. Which I haven't been able to watch a whole lot of that this season. I'm kind of bummed out, but yeah, go Toronto 6 because we're from Canada. But yeah, just like we're trying to grow the sport here, and people like you, Twitter account that everybody's putting in their place, are the reason that the sport doesn't grow. Or you're part of the reason that it doesn't grow. Besides besides the costs or that kind of thing, right? You are part of the reason that it doesn't grow. Shut the hell up and let people enjoy something. Like what does it matter to you that for myself, I'll use myself as an example. What does it matter to you that I'm a Ducks and a Flames fan? What does it matter?
Yeah, I don't even understand.
Just as I still like the team. I follow it, right? Like doing this show, honestly, maybe become a fan. Like I have Ducks jerseys, the amount of those that I have now is second in like the entire collection that I have of jerseys. And first is obviously the Flames, being a fan of that for the longest. But I get Ducks merch and stuff like that. But and again, merch doesn't necessarily mean you're a fan either. I got a couple things of Vegas, and that was more because of Marc-Andre Fleury. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just let people enjoy shit.
Yeah, I don't
come on. There's just some people that just have to drag others into their misery, I feel like. And this is one of those guys.
100%, yeah.
But everybody just laughs at it, at the attempt. Because it's ridiculous.
Because it's hilarious. Yeah,
exactly.
Honestly. The dude even said himself, the Ducks have one of the smallest fan bases.
So why are you trying to keep it small?
The league. Yeah, exactly.
Why don't you want it to grow bigger? Why don't you want it to be in California specifically? Let's go with that. Why don't you want it to be bigger than the Sharks? Why don't you want it to be bigger than the Kings? You want to go a little bit more north. Why don't you want it to be bigger than the Seattle Kraken, right? Who have just joined the league and probably have a bigger fan base already than the Anaheim Ducks. Why don't you want the fan base to grow? Why don't you just want fandom of hockey to grow? Right?
It makes zero sense. The logic is just not there at all.
No, not at all.
So, anyways, to shift gears here, do you have anything else you need to get out? We'll just get it out of the way early if you need to. Are you okay?
I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing all right. So
okay, good.
I'm doing my best to manage my mental health with school.
Nice.
We were talking about that before as well.
Yeah. Which is good.
Most of my classes are pretty good. I have one class that's kind of kicking my ass, but it's It's one of those where it's just like, okay, you know what? It's okay to take a little bit of a step back, I guess. I still try to go for quirky raids, obviously, but yeah, besides that, though, everything's been sweet. So I get to go see Marc-Andre Fleury on Tuesday, play the Calgary Flames. So,
yeah,
you know, again, big Fleury fanboy here, not going to lie. Gonna see if I can get an autograph or three by chance. If not, though, I'll just enjoy watching my favorite goaltender live again. So, yeah, because the first time I got to see him play live actually was 2017 when I went to Vegas during their inaugural season. That was the first time I ever got to see him play live. So this will only be the third time I get to see him. So just because, you know, when he was in Pittsburgh, that was kind of during the time where you didn't have the NHL didn't have that kind of scheduling mandate that you played every team at home and away at least once.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so like I didn't get to see him for the longest time in person and stuff like that. So when I went to Vegas, obviously I was just drinking that in, right, and watching him and stuff like that. But no, I think it should be an interesting game though to go see as well, right? Chicago's been doing
pretty well.
Much as I recall, they've been doing decently well lately.
Yeah, after definitely compared to their start, the Blackhawks have actually been pretty good. So
yeah, so it should be fun. So it should be a good day. So go up a little early, maybe try to do some Christmas shopping in the bigger city, I guess. Or whatever. But yeah. So, and how about you? How you been doing, bud?
Pretty good. I'm in the same boat as you when it comes to classes, where I'm just like, I need to care just like that much less, you know?
Yeah.
Just because
like obviously it's important, but it's like it can't be where it's taking away from everything else kind of thing. Like literally like we're recording this on Sunday, right, for our Monday episode. My day yesterday was spent watching a lecture for an asynchronous class and literally just doing homework assignments the entire day.
On a Saturday.
That was it. Yeah, for a Saturday.
It's pretty lame, just gonna say.
Yeah, the break I took was to watch one hockey game, and then I went back to it. Like it was basically from like 11:30 to like 11 at night. That was it, and that was honestly for 2% of a grade. So
for one class,
like it's at the point where I honestly might just say screw it, write the test, because the test is open for this course. Write it tomorrow and just be like, okay, cool, whatever. So
so hopefully this conversation can apply to a few of our listeners, because I know there's a few of them that are younger, in school, whether it's high school or college or university or whatever kind of education. Just chill just a little bit.
Obviously your schooling is important, but you are importanter.
And using a word like importanter is exactly why you should try hard. Perfect example of a failed education system.
There you go. Yeah. You know, I was joking with that. Right?
No.
It was not actually. I was just like ready for you to be like, wow, okay, I knew you were dumb, but I didn't know you were that dumb.
Yeah. Also, it's obviously more importanterist.
Yeah, right. Excuse me. Also, before we go into our Ducks talk, because we do have a game to talk about here, I'd like to issue a public apology to my parents for the joke I made last episode. I did get a text from my dad with the, I believe we were talking about Troy Terry at the time, or Trevor Zegras. It was one of those two.
It was Terry,
and I made a joke along the lines of like, you know, if I had half the skill that that player had, maybe my parents would love me. And then I followed it up with, no, they probably love me. I know my parents love me. I was laughing when that text came through in like my family group chat. I was like, oh no. So, but obviously grateful to my parents for actually listening to this. I could see why they wouldn't want to, but so yeah, love you guys.
Before we get into the game here, just because you brought up women's hockey earlier, this reminded me of it. Shane from the Sens Hour podcast sent this in our THPN group chat that the NHL put in a few trademarks for the WNHL, which I'm assuming would be Women's National Hockey League.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Unless they're doing Western National Hockey League, but I don't know how much further west you can get than like Seattle and California and Vancouver.
Japan.
but isn't that east
Yeah, I get
technically? I don't know.
Well, we keep saying it's east, but it could be west,
That's true.
right?
I mean,
because
out there they have.
depends on which way you want to look at it.
I mean, out in like Europe and Asia, their maps have Europe and Asia on the left, and then North America and South
and
America on the right. Yeah. So really, they are like the West over there.
Yeah, I think that more stems from like the search for the new, like the search and the finding of the new world, which was North America and South America. Because they went west. So I think that's where that seems the logical place for that the west and east thing to stem from. But that would be interesting because the whole point, like just recently, was to try to become one league. Because there was another league that had like Calgary and like a few other teams in it as well. Yeah. Women's, oh man, the NHL really just needs to step in and help women's hockey. Honestly, like they have the resources to do it. Like quit saucing just $1 million and saying, "Oh yeah, that's a great contribution for this year." Actually do something. But then again, telling the NHL to actually do something for anything doesn't really work.
No,
it doesn't happen. They don't really. They're on. Okay. We haven't gotten too deep into that, but there just needs to be a serious change in personnel and culture in the NHL from the top down. Absolutely. It really needs to change. Gary Bettman on it. Like I obviously I don't want anybody to lose their job or anything like that, but it's time for Gary Bettman to go. His time is so done. Like Gary Bettman became the commissioner of the NHL, I think a year or two before my uncle had his stint in the NHL. Yeah, in the mid-90s.
That's been like 30 years, right? Like he's going on 30 years. Yeah.
Yeah, like he has been a part of the three. He's been a part of the three lockouts that the NHL has had in its history. Ever since he's been the commissioner, right? So that's not to say he hasn't done a lot of good things for the sport. But it's time for a new voice. That's all it is, really. So, and that goes for Bill Daly as well. Goes for Fear for the NHLPA. There needs to be somebody different there. Mind you, like a lot of this does stem from the Chicago stuff. Yeah. But just in general, we just need a new voice throughout. I think because they are so out of touch with, honestly, with the fans like you and I think. Right? Like our age and younger, they don't know how to relate or make the sport appealing to us. Right? Yeah. No, you're right. 100%. Yeah. But yeah, there just needs to be, and I mean for other reasons as well. But yeah, there needs to be a new voice, I think. Yeah, for sure. And I know it's going to be a long process. Like we're not going to see a change tomorrow, but I hope just over the next few years, things happen. And I think this trademarking of the WNHL is at least a step. Obviously, corporations trademark shit all the time, just randomly. They're like, this might be useful in 10, 15 years, and then it never gets used, but they still do it. So it runs out unless you renew it, right? So
yeah, exactly. So, and you've got to do it before someone else snatches it up, of course, right? But I hope that this is in the right direction. Obviously, there's like you said, like throwing $1 million at women's hockey, like, it's helpful, but it's also kind of like, you could do more.
That's a fourth liner's salary for a season. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Come on. You have a lot more than that.
Yeah. And
you can do more with it.
Yeah. And I'm sure that, they're like, there's a lot that they have to focus on in their current league as well. So I get not being able to be like, okay, let's just build a women's league. Like, now, like there's franchises struggling, attendance across the league is low. They're still recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. So like, I get that there's a lot of things that they probably have to do.
Oh yeah,
now
absolutely.
For their league.
And I'm not discounting that. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's, I would like to see them slowly start to build the women's National Hockey League too. Even if it starts small, even if it just starts with, okay, let's take what's in the PHF.
I think
is it like 6 teams?
Yeah, it's 6 teams. I think it's. Let me see if I can remember offhand. Connecticut, Boston, Toronto.
Buffalo has a team, don't they?
Yeah, Buffalo, the Buttes, which that's a no pun intended beautiful name. There's two other
Did you say Boston?
Here. Yeah, I said Boston, the Pride, who I believe are the most recent winners. Here, let me just PHF. Let's see who I'm missing here. The Boston Pride, Buffalo Buttes, Connecticut Whale. The Metropolitan Riveteers, who they just put out an alternate jersey that looks beautiful, actually. The Minnesota Whitecaps, who also have a great look, and the Toronto Six. Yeah. So, and the PHF was formerly the NWHL, just until this season, from 2015 to 2021. So,
yeah. So, I mean, like, you could even start there with just acquiring that, and then because that's how they did it with the NHL too, and it seemed to work. They started with their 6 teams, and then they, expanded a little bit, added more teams, eventually acquired the WHA. And brought in all those teams. So like they could start with that one and then slowly bring in some of the other women's leagues from just to, build it up across, I was going to say the country, but I guess continent really.
Yeah.
So,
you're totally right. So
yeah, I mean, obviously we're not saying they should do this starting tomorrow, but hopefully that
would be sweet.
They recognize
that'd be nice.
There's going to be a ton of money in women's hockey.
There 100% is. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I love the NHL and like junior hockey and stuff like that, right? But have you been to a women's game before?
Not like a high level one. I think the highest I would have went or like actually seen would have been just like university hockey. I've been to a couple games here in our city with our university.
Yeah,
back when they actually had a hockey team, but.
Yeah, our university doesn't have a hockey team anymore. That's still weird to me. I guess it would have been like the university team that I would have seen as well quite a few times. But I believe it was before the 2014 Olympics as well. The women's national team for Canada played, I believe it was the U16 AAA team from Medicine Hat and stuff like that as well. And honestly, women's hockey is just fun to watch. And like I tried to watch games last year as well during like at the time NWHL's kind of bubble tournament and stuff like that. It's fun hockey to watch. So and it's not to take away from, the physicality of men's hockey or that sort of thing. But because you don't have there is still physicality in women's hockey. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
But there's not, you're not
you just can't go
body
and
check
deck someone in the open ice, right? Yeah,
exactly. But because of that, I feel like they have to be a little bit more skilled, even, right? So you have that skill game coming out a little bit more. That's not to say though that women can't hit or anything like that. There was one of those university games I did. There was one girl that just decided to lay out the other girl at center ice. Perfect textbook shoulder to chest body check, just laid her out. But because you can't body check, it was a penalty, and like everybody was just booing for it. They're like, "Come on, that was a great hit. Just let it off."
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you're not watching women's hockey, get on it. Honestly, you can. Yeah, there's 6 teams. You can pick one, right? So. But, or just enjoy the league.
Why do you have to pick one, Nate?
Yeah, you don't have to.
Are you gatekeeping? Are you saying you're not a true women's hockey fan unless you pick one team?
You can be fan of all of them. But I'm just saying that, like, if you want to get like a little bit more connected, right? Yeah, pick a team, right, and follow them. So,
or 2,
or 3, or 4, or 5, or all 6. Just do it. Watch some women's hockey. It's good for you. So
it keeps you regular, right?
Keeps you
Never.
What does that mean?
You said it's good for you.
Yeah, it's good for you. It's good for your soul.
Yeah. It's like, never mind. I don't want to explain what keeping you regular means.
I feel like I'm lost here.
It's like fiber. Let's put it that way.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it keeps you healthy. There you go.
Yeah.
Keeps you regular. What the fuck?
It's what my mom says. I'm sorry. So I think now's a good time to get into some Ducks hockey. Don't you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, wait, before you start, do you want some ASMR?
I feel like you're gonna do it anyways, so sure.
Okay, here you go. We got it. We just a pop can. Just a pop can.
You gonna drink that?
You want me to slurp it?
Yes. Nice.
There you go. Hope everybody enjoyed that.
0 people enjoyed that, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, the Ducks. Let's get back on track here. We're 26 minutes in. We haven't talked about the Ducks yet.
Well, we kind of did. Not specifically, but.
Okay, I really want to see these pie charts now at the end of the year that you were talking about beforehand.
Yeah. Okay, we got to fill people in because I think that was off air, was it not? Yeah.
Yeah, it was off air.
I really wanted, after this semester is over and I have a couple weeks of free time, I really want to go back and listen to all of our episodes from season 3 so far and see how much of it is actually Ducks talk. Nate seems to think we hit about 30% in an episode. I think 20% on a 30. There's no way we have episodes that are 50% Ducks talk.
It depends on the episode, but there have been.
Maybe one. I think it's more like 15 to 20, like 20 on a good day, but we'll see. So I'm very curious, and I'm going to make pie charts because pie charts are cool.
I should make that a Twitter poll as well of like, what percentage do you think we actually talk about Ducks on the show?
Yeah, absolutely. Do it. Yeah. Also ask if pie charts are cool.
Pie charts are cool. They just make me hungry.
That's true. What do you think's cooler, pie charts or line charts?
Pie charts.
Really?
It's more visually appealing.
Fat ass. Okay, Ducks talk. They had one game since our last episode against the Hurricanes, a 2-1 loss to the Canes, unfortunately, breaking the Ducks win streak at 6.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
It's heartbroken.
I forgot you had that as a sound. Oh, well, throw in the towel. The season's done. We lost a game. Fuck it all. We're done, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, there was 1 or 2 comments that I did see that were like that. Everyone else was just like, sweet, that was a great run. Let's do another one. I'm like, there you go. That's what we should do. Yeah.
At least we still have the Troy Terry streak. That's a good one.
Yes, that is a good one. That is a good
16 games now.
I like it.
Yeah.
I love it. I want some more of it.
I felt like you were going there, so I'm glad that you did.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, with the lone goal in the game, which was a beautiful play by him and Henrique.
Yeah, it was great. So that's just and that's again what we were talking about last year. Drive to the fucking net. Get somebody at the net. Enough of the outside stuff. And it works. Woo!
Yeah.
Dunk it.
Look at that. And I love that Terry has consistent line mates too. Like him and Getzlaf and Henrique. Like, well, really it was Henrique and Terry on that play that had the beautiful chemistry. But yeah, you have to talk about the chemistry between Terry and Getzlaf as well. Like,
oh yeah,
you can tell
that's where it started from, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. Like this line staying together for pretty much the whole season so far. I think I can't really think of a time. Yeah, like instead of putting the lines in a blender every couple games to see what works, like nothing's gonna work. You're not gonna have that chemistry unless you keep them together for a long time. And thankfully, we've seen some consistent lines. I mean, as consistent as they can be with injuries and trying to get young guys into the game and rotating your bottom 6 and stuff like that. Like at least the top 6 has been consistent, which is really all you can ask. So I'm very glad to see that because look at what it does. That was a beautiful play between Henrique and Terry, just to know where each other were. Like,
oh yeah, it was great. And yeah, just Terry, just getting that. All it took was a poke to just get that past Anderson, right? That was great. So
yeah, and really all it took was a poke from Henrique to get that puck away from Anderson.
Yeah, and to get it back to Terry. Yeah, just great chemistry, honestly, coming from that line. So
yeah, like when I saw that goal live, I was like, how the fuck did that go in? And then when they showed kind of the reverse angle in slow motion, you're like, how did they make that many passes? Like passes, shots, whatever you want to call them, but just to be able to get each other the puck on that play, I was like mind blown how many times that puck actually, kind of changed hands and then found the back of the net. It was so good. Troy Terry's amazing. I can't talk about this kid enough.
He's great.
Yeah.
He is great. There was something as well, just as we were talking about the lines that I remembered. I'm just trying to find the actual the article here, but it sounds like Ricardo Raquel is back at practice, which that's good.
Yeah.
Right. And it sounded like he was on the second line with Trevor Zegras and Sonny Milano.
Okay.
I like that as a second
Who's
line.
normally on that line?
Well, it's been Zegras and Milano, and I think they've just been kind of rotating a couple different guys. I think Silverberg's been part of it at one point, and they've just been trying different guys. But Raquel was working with those two guys a little bit earlier in the season before he got hurt, right? So, but it sounds like he's expected, I think, to come back this week. But
that'll be good.
Yeah, considering that he's he's practicing again and stuff like that. So,
especially with Zegras and Milano, like you don't just throw Raquel up there if they're not going to play a game together soon. So, yeah,
exactly. So, I'm just seeing from this one article here from the OC Register from Elliot Seaford there that Eakin said he wasn't sure where he might slot Raquel, but he's sound enough to play again.
Hopefully, we'll see him against Nashville then.
Yeah, that would be great. So, it says he formed a productive pairing with Trevor Zegras, scoring 4 goals in 8 games before he was hurt. And we know that Milano and Zegras have just been lights out as well, right? Yeah. So that would be a beautiful 1-2 punch of those two lines.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
there would be a lot of firepower on that second line. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like Milano on his own is a pretty good shooter, but he's like the third best shooter on that line, maybe.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, like that's deadly. Like, I don't know how you would really defend that because Zegras and Milano can make beautiful passes. So like, and then you have to respect the shot from both Zegras and Raquel.
Yeah.
So, and Milano realistically.
Yeah.
Like that's
the same with that top line too. If Getzlaf wants to take a shot, he's got a pretty good chance normally.
Yeah. But then you also have to respect the pass to Terry and Henry because you know he's going to find those seams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
man. Just the idea of those two lines like being the lines, that's pretty nice. And you can, like you said, you can rotate with third and fourth lines a bit and stuff like that. But did it kind of feel a little bit bad for Silverberg though, being bumped down to the third line because of this great chemistry that's been being made?
Yeah. It's hard to consider that the third line though, really.
Yeah, fair. But even just with that amount of ice time, as great as it is, I kind of wonder if he's going to be wanting something else. This is. I have no basis for this. This is just me purely speculating based on lineups and time on ice.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder if he's going to want to go somewhere that he can play a little bit more or something like that. So we'll have to keep an eye there. Again, I have no basis for that. That's purely speculation on my part. I have nothing to back that up. It's just a thought. So
it is important though. Like, do you need a top 6 guy in your bottom 6 when he's kind of the odd man out? Like, it's not that he's a bad player and he's still contributing to the team.
Yeah.
But just
I would love for him to stay, obviously. So but
I
don't know if he wants more time, right? And it's kind of hard to break into that potentially top 6 right now. So
like barring any injuries, obviously, which you don't wish on anybody. But I'm trying to look here at time on ice per game. But it's not sorting. Oh, there we go. Where does Silverberg sit at time on ice? Am I blind?
Yes, but
oh god, it wants me to unblock my ads. Sorry, this is awful.
No, we are not unblocking ads. What is this?
Yeah, Silverberg's currently sitting at about 17 minutes time on ice per game. The highest forward for context is Getzlaf, about 20 minutes time on ice per game. Troy Terry's getting 17 and a half. So he's kind of up there, but he's not much further ahead than Zegras at 16:40 time on ice. Milano and Lundestrom about 15 minutes. So like with Silverberg, I think you kind of expect him to be up more with Raquel at 18 and a half, Henrique at 18 minutes, even Getzlaf at 20 minutes. Like he would probably want to be in that range, get a couple more minutes a game. But you're right. He does seem like that odd man out there.
A little bit, yeah.
But I don't know. It really depends on his personality. I don't know what he's thinking. Like if he's like, you know what, I'm fine taking a backseat role if it means that this team is winning, or if he's like, no, I deserve to play more. Send me to a team that can actually use me in the top 6.
Yeah, send me to a contender, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd be upset because I have a Silverberg jersey, obviously,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be mad if we got a good return on him and Silverberg was happy. So
yeah, exactly. So, and again, one more time, that's just purely speculation on my part. There's nothing to back it up. Just an idea I had. So
yeah, honestly, I could see trade talks continuing with Raquel as well, trying to send him to a contender, get a first round pick at the deadline for him, plus, and then Silverberg just slots into that second line because I think he would be capable of moving up in the lineup, and I think he would find chemistry with Zegras and Milano, no doubt.
I just want to double check because this year's kind of all odd with the All-Star break and the Olympics. They don't normally happen the same, like in the same season. I just want to see when the trade deadline is for this year.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Okay, March 21st, and then taking a look at the NHL schedule because there's like 2.5 weeks that we will have no NHL content.
I think the season ends like pretty much end of April, like that very last week of April. So that's about a month and a half to go. That seems normal. Trade deadline's normally in end of February, and then season ends beginning of April. So about 6 weeks.
So the last game in February is the 2nd. Just for the league in general. 4 games that night. Do you think maybe the Ducks wait to see where they are?
Oh yeah,
until that time, and if it's looking like they're going to be a playoff team, say to Raquel, "Hey, we'd like to keep you around," or something like that, or talk about extension.
Yeah.
Or if they're if they've fallen off, kind of thing, right? And then it doesn't look good, then kind of bring back the idea of if he would like to move, or if the Ducks think they can get something for him, kind of thing. So I don't know. Does that seem like a good date, or would you say like the start of January, like just after Christmas, kind of thing?
I think if it's obvious that the team took a step back and this win streak was just, everybody firing kind of on all cylinders at the same time, and then we kind of regress back to 500 or so before January, and that seems like the norm, then I'd say it might be time to look at some early trades. But if this team stays relatively above 500, we'll stay about 600. I think they're about like 650 right now in terms of points percentage. Then you would be more comfortable waiting a little longer. But I don't think there would really be a rush to move on from any guys.
Yeah. Ducks are currently 10-5-3, 18 games played, 23 points, good for third in the Pacific Division with a 639 points percentage.
Okay. Yeah. So that loss to Carolina hurt them a little bit, but yeah. No, it's still like a really solid record, obviously.
Yeah.
Like if you're around 600, like you're a decent team in the NHL. So
yeah, and I was gonna say too, though, I was looking at the standings today. So Vegas has been getting better, right, with some guys coming back and whatnot. They are currently sitting in the first wild card spot, 18 games played, so same as us at the time of this recording, anyway. 11 wins, 7 losses, 0 overtime losses for 22 points. So those games that were able to force to overtime or that sort of thing, as much as it's better to obviously get the 2 points.
Yeah.
Those overtime losses do matter, right? In the grand scheme of things. Like those overtime losses are what's keeping us ahead right now of the Golden Knights. So I don't know
as opposed to regulation losses. Yeah. I mean, we'll see if this team gets back on the winning train here. So they say that good teams don't lose like 2 games in a row or 3 games in a row. So, I mean, we play Nashville next. Should be a winnable game. Colorado, maybe, I don't know. They've been kind of up and down all season. we'll talk about those a little bit later. But I mean, if we lose against Nashville, I don't like our chances against Colorado, and that's 3 losses in a row. And then you start to evaluate, is this team for real? And they'll probably be thinking the same thing as well. So
yeah,
it's I think these next couple games are must-win games just for the morale of the season is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the morale of the season, and to kind of know of like, is this team for real? So it'll be a good test for sure. So excuse me. Not to say that Colorado or Carolina wasn't though, right? Like we were talking last episode, they were second in the league, and we kept them within 1 goal, right? Like they had empty net chances and they didn't convert on them. And really the goal that put them ahead was really just an unlucky bounce from behind the net that bounced off of Gibson, right? So
I don't see that. Obviously quite a bit of skill and hockey IQ involved there, but you're right. Like it is quite lucky for it to bounce off of Gibson right into the net, especially when he's there and still tracking the puck. Like,
yeah, exactly. And just some unlucky bounces our way, right? Like Zegers had a perfect opportunity on a rebound in the second period there that just, bouncing puck and it's screwed it over. So hockey's like it's not, but it is a game of chance at the same time. So
to some extent, yeah. What's the saying that they say all the time in the NHL games? Like, or it's Ray Ferraro's favorite. He says it on like every broadcast I've ever seen. Ray Ferraro, and it's like you got to be good to be lucky, and lucky to be good or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's a mix between skill and luck. Like, you still have to be a good team, but you also have to be a lucky team.
Yeah, exactly.
To some extent. So, is there anything else you want to say about Carolina here? Actually, shut up. I want to say something.
All right. I have nothing else to say anyway.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to kind of say like this game easily could have went the other way. Just like what you said about the unlucky bounces. Like we get a couple bounces our way, and I think we win this game. I don't want to say we were the better team, but we were close. There was points where we were the better team, especially that first period. We were all over Carolina.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What were the shots? Like we had like 17 shots in the first period or something like that. That's insane.
Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Yeah, I think it was like 17-10 were the shots in the first for in favor of us here. And then we kind of fell off a little bit in the other 2 periods, but 17-11, sorry, were the shots in the first. And then 12-9 Carolina in the second and 8-6 in the third. So that was obviously a tighter period, which we kind of saw. But I just liked how many shots we were putting on net. I think at 1.2 they were like 10-2 were the shots. Like we came out hot, just putting everything on net, which I think we had to do against Carolina, establish that we're here to play, and we looked really, really good. But yeah, it just came down to, like you said, a couple unlucky bounces. But this game easily could have went the other way, I think, which is impressive that we were able to hold our own against Carolina, who's been awesome this year and awesome the last few years as well.
Yeah, as much as it is a loss, you have to remember that it was a loss after an 8-game winning streak. I think a 9-game point streak or 9 or 10 game point streak. Yeah.
10. Yeah.
Like that's not something to scoff at by any means, right? Like I personally still have confidence in this team. Like it is, I'd like to see obviously if this was a bit of a flash in the pan, but from what I was seeing though, it's not like Montreal last year with the playoffs flash in the pan, right? Where just everything worked out for them. You can actually see this team has the effort, has the talent to continue something like this. So yeah, I'm feeling confident for now. Check on me around Christmas time. So we'll see what's up.
Sounds good. Okay, we got a couple news points to hit as well as upcoming games and of course what's quacking. But before we get to that, let's take a quick break and we'll see you guys on the other side.
The NHL season is underway, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has an unbelievable offer to celebrate the greatest sport on ice. New customers can bet just $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores. Doesn't matter if it's a one-time clapper or an awesome deflection. However they light the lamp, either team, you win. It's easy money. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, DraftKings won't leave you empty-handed. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. So what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use the promo code THPN, throw down $1 on any NHL game, and win 100 in free bets if either team scores. This week, one puck in the net nets you a big win with promo code THPN, as in the Hockey Podcast Network, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL.
Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back. A couple news points for us to hit here. First of all, Mason McTavish sent back to the Peterborough Petes in the OHL after playing his 9 games in the NHL, which he's allowed before his ELC kicks in. So I doubt we'll see him back at any point this season, just because if he comes back for even one more game, we burn in a year off his ELC. And
I think there's some weird rule with the playoffs. Don't quote me on this one. I think he might be allowed to come back for the playoffs.
Yes, he can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the playoffs,
just not the regular season. Yeah.
Yeah. The NHL is weird in that sense. Because like say players pay, that's for the regular season. That's for those 82 games. Mm-hmm. If you make the playoffs, there's playoff bonuses or that.
Yeah.
But at that point, you're almost playing for free, kind of thing. So
yeah.
So I think that's where you're able to say, have players like McTavish potentially come back, kind of thing, to join the team and whatnot, because that technically isn't them getting paid from their contracts. It's the whole thing. So
yeah, it's very weird when you actually think about it. But obviously the players want to play in the playoffs more than the regular season anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So, look at Kucherov, last year. He didn't play a single regular season game, but then played every playoff game, right?
Yeah. I'm even thinking of Nick Robertson a few years ago. I think it was in the bubble with the Toronto Maple Leafs, right?
Yeah.
Where he came up and was in the lineup for the bubble, but hadn't played a game or anything like that, but was good enough to go into those playoffs, right?
Or Cale Makar even.
Yeah, Cale Makar is another example.
Made his NHL debut in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. So against I believe that was the year that they played Calgary in the first round, I think. Calgary was first in the West. So they bring in this, Calgary native. That's pretty cool, I guess, for him, right? And be
true.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to slot you second line defense in the first round of the playoffs against the first,
against the best team in the West.
Yeah, against the best team in the West. I think who was at the time was only 2 points away from first place in the league.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it just kind of depends on what you're thinking of your prospects and stuff like that. So, but I'd be interested to see if he does come back if we make the playoffs. Again, that's still months away. We'll have to see what happens. But
it also depends on the OHL as well. If their team makes the playoffs too. So
yeah, and he's going to go back and just light it up. There's somebody else that he's with there in Peterborough that people are just holy fuck it, OHL, look out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to light it up there. And to those who are kind of freaking out about this, it's not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing by any means. And this is actually a move that I was happy that they made personally. The guy still put up 3 points in 9 games. That's pretty good, honestly, for an 18-year-old.
And he was very noticeable as well.
Yeah, for an 18-year-old, that's great.
Yeah, that's one thing too. I totally forgot he was 18 until I read the article.
He was just drafted a few months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, as great as he can be for us, it's okay to let him go back and go back to his natural position at center, right? Yeah. Develop a little bit more in that respect. Absolutely tear it up. And he also, one thing that the Ducks had said in their statement about it, though, was that it gives him a chance to go represent Canada for the World Junior Championship.
That too.
Which as a Canadian, that makes me fucking happy. Right? Yeah. I want to see another stacked team. I would like another gold medal, please. Thank you. But yeah, it gives that a bit more of an opportunity, right? Instead of, okay, we're going to pull him from the Ducks for the World Juniors and have it be a detriment to us, right? It's like we can have him
Yeah.
pulled. We have guys who can fill in that role for now. Let him develop more to become like the third, fourth punch. Like, dude, this year just prospects and like young guys have been looking so great for us. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know honestly how you would rank between like. I feel like Troy Terry is first at the moment, but then you have Zegras, Drysdale,
Yeah.
McTavish now, right? Like, it's the future looks bright, obviously. So this is not a bad thing. Not everybody is ready to automatically jump in. McTavish looks like he's close, but not quite what the Ducks are looking for just yet, and that's totally okay.
Yeah, you can see that he's able to at least keep up with the NHL game, but obviously being the youngest guy out there it's very difficult to keep up with guys that are in their prime, like in their mid-20s. Like you're just not built to be able to play with those guys yet. It's like it would be comparable to like 7 and 8 year olds in minor hockey playing against the next tier up of 9 or 10 year olds. Like they're going to get fucking stomped just because there's that age gap. Yeah. It's obviously less once you get into your teens and early adulthood. But like this kid, now that he's got the taste of the NHL, when he goes back to the OHL, he's going to be like, okay, I know what it takes to win in the NHL, and I'm just going to play that way in the OHL and just decimate everybody that he plays against. So
yeah, exactly. And just to clarify something, because not everybody, this is more just for those who maybe don't know or something like that. There was the question brought up on the Ducks post of why not send him down to San Diego instead. And this is just to clarify kind of thing. Obviously not trying to be gatekeepy or anything like that. Just to clarify, the NHL and the CHL, Canadian Hockey League, which is comprised of the WHL, Western Hockey League, the OHL, Ontario Hockey League, and the QMJHL, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. The NHL and the CHL have a deal, which I believe was actually just renewed this summer as well, like a development deal, that any player who has not played 4 years of junior or is under the age of 20 is able to go back to the CHL to develop instead. So compare that to the difference of Trevor Zegras last year. He was playing within the U.S. National Development Program, right? That's not the CHL, so that's why he was able to go to San Diego instead. So just to clarify that for anybody who might have been still confused or that sort of thing. Just I've seen that comment, and again, not as many people know about like those behind the scenes deals and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Or things. So just wanted to clarify that for anybody who might have been curious as to why he wasn't going down to the Gulls instead. So
I was just looking to see if he'd played any games in the OHL yet. It looks like the Peterborough Petes just played this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
I thought you meant like before the Ducks. That's why I said no.
Oh, yeah. So the Sunday afternoon, I guess this is, they beat the Ottawa 67s 9-3, but it doesn't look like McTavish was even in the lineup. So look out.
Jeez. And then add McTavish to oh my God.
Dude, that could have been bad for the 67s.
Very.
I'm just trying to look at the standings to see kind of where the Petes sit.
Pretty sure they're in like the top 5. I don't follow the OHL too heavily, but
they actually are 5th in their division, but there's only 5 teams in the division, so it's actually not good.
Okay, never mind.
Wow,
I was very wrong.
In 16 games, they have a 5-10-1 record in their division. The 67's a 10-7-0 record, 10-7-0-1, so a shootout loss in 18 games. But kind of weird, but looks like just kind of a weird upset game, I guess.
So Mason McTavish will definitely help.
I think he should. Yeah, definitely.
Sweet.
Yeah, so we'll definitely keep following the Petes here in the OHL and let you guys know how he's doing, just like we've done with Zegras in the past, and let you know how dominant McTavish is.
Yeah.
Okay, Max Comtois. He's out now for 6 weeks after having hand surgery. Fix a broken hand that it sounds like he's kind of been playing through. So,
and that kind of makes sense now with him just not quite being there. It seems like,
he was playing at not 100%. So,
so
which I don't get why he was even playing then if it looked like he needed surgery, but
I don't know.
that's one thing I won't understand.
Yeah, that kind of stuff confuses me unless he's thinking that, he was able to play through it and stuff like that, which I understand. I've done that myself in my career, and probably not in good situations either. But that's one of the things I can only think of, because otherwise it would be like, well, like beginning of the season. I understand like the American Thanksgiving mark and stuff like that, but I have no idea. So
it's possible too that it actually wasn't as bad, and then just trying to play through it and let it heal on its own made it worse.
That could be.
So it's possible he started the season at like 90 or 95%, and then it just deteriorated as the season went on, and was like, okay, fuck it, I just need to get the surgery now and take 6 weeks off. So we really don't know, and we probably never will know. But I'm hoping that that's kind of the result of the lack of production, and then when he comes back in, I guess that would be probably beginning of January.
Yeah, something like that.
Ish. Then he comes back and turns into the Contoir we saw last season, because I think that would be huge for this team.
That would be great.
Massive.
Love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Upcoming games. As we already said, Monday against Nashville. That game's at 5 p.m. Pacific. And then Wednesday we play Colorado at 6 p.m. Pacific. We actually have 4 games this week. We play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
Oh, damn.
Which is cool, because considering we only, I think, had 2 games this last week.
Yeah.
Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm excited for that. Got a little more Ducks hockey, a couple games to talk about next episode. It's going to be good.
Very good. And I guess, the next episode we will be doing,
I guess during the Colorado game. Yeah.
Or it'd be after, I guess.
We can do it after.
Is what we have done in the past. So.
Yeah, we'll do it after. Sure.
So, I was going to say, if we weren't crammed at the end of a semester here, we will try to set up a watch along at some point. I think I'd like to do that. So this doesn't look like a great time at the moment.
No, it's not.
No, I was asked by Josh at THPN if I wanted to do one. It was actually for like the Calgary Chicago game on Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm actually going to be at that game, but I also don't think I'll be able to really do any more in November just with school right now, which sucks, because I did enjoy doing a few of those this month, but Nashville is going to be interesting. They've kind of been on the upswing, it looks like. They are now in that second wild card position, 19 points in 17 games, 9-7-1 record. I know they got stomped by the Canadians. That was last night, I think. But it was last night. It was 5-1 or
6-3.
Or 6-3, yeah.
It was 5-1 at one point, for sure. I was kind of following that game just a little bit. But it was like 5-0 at one point, and then Duchesne got a natural hat trick in the third, and then they ended up losing.
Oh, jeez. Okay, that's why they were talking about Duchesne. I came into that game way late, so damn.
It seemed like a very weird game. I kind of would have liked to watch it and see why Montreal was able to score 5 goals, or 6 goals. Like, where the fuck did that come from? But,
jeez.
But besides that, Nashville's looked pretty good. Saros has been decent to start the year, to say the least. But I think it's still a winnable game. Obviously we're not riding the high from that 8-game win streak anymore, but
I think we have a chance.
I think so too.
I feel confident in this team right now. Every game feels like a game we could win right now to me. So
yeah, absolutely. And maybe we'll have a solid bounce back game after Carolina. I really hope so anyways. But
because that wasn't even a bad game. It was just more the result. That was really it. So but get a good game against Nashville, go into Colorado, which if I remember correctly, we did decent against them last season, actually.
Surprisingly.
They were the one team we were able to kind of play with and stuff like that. So
Colorado's been weird this year. Like,
they have been,
it's hard to count them out when their top guys are McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog, Makar, just to name a few, and then their goaltender is Darcy Kemper. But it's just as a whole, the team hasn't really been there. They're currently sitting 2 points out of a playoff spot. only played 14 games, so a few games in hand, but 8-5-1 record. But they've just had some bad losses and against teams that they shouldn't lose against.
Yeah.
Really. So it's just been a weird season for them. But like I said, you can't count them out. So I really don't know how this game is going to go. I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I have no idea either. Like I said, just I'm confident in the team right now, actually. So I think we can at least get. I feel confident enough to say at least a point. I know that's not saying a whole lot. I feel like we could get 2 out of 4 points here, though. At least.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just looking to see if they're on a back-to-back. It does not look like it. They play Ottawa on Monday, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah.
If they really just drop the ball against a not so great Ottawa team.
They've also been dealing with COVID lately as well.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
had to cancel a couple games and stuff like that just because of the amount of cases that they still had. So
yeah, so I don't know. I mean, Ottawa could come back and be like, we're done with COVID. Like that last week sucked. Like, let's just take it to the Colorado Avalanche, and then they just don't know what to do. Or they could just still be tired from their week off. Not tired, but like
groggy,
out of shape. I don't know, over rested. I don't know the right word, but and then Colorado just stomps them. I really don't know, but it'll be interesting to follow.
Yeah,
out of practice. Yeah, it'll be interesting to follow though to see how Colorado plays against that Ottawa team, and maybe if they lose, they get all down on themselves, and then we just slap them in the face.
Yeah, for sure.
with some Troy Terry magic. I don't know.
I like it. Yeah, I really want to see, like, obviously individual stuff doesn't or shouldn't come before team stuff. I want to see Terry get this record. I want to see it.
Yeah, I think that records
it's possible.
I think that the records, like the individual ones, are a big part of that team's success on the 8-game win streak. Like, look at all the assists that Getzlaf picked up in that time frame. That win streak started with him taking the franchise record in points, and it ended with him getting that 1,000-point milestone.
Yeah,
that can't be a coincidence, right?
No, I don't think so either.
So now that Terry is kind of, I don't want to say front and center, but
he's pushing for a record now.
I can see him getting a lot more looks, both in time on ice from like the coaching staff, and maybe trying to force some passes through to him, which I'm okay with it because he's playing with Getzlaf. So Getzlaf can force as many passes through as he wants, and even if only half of them work out, I have no issue with him trying. But also Terry's kind of been. He's been sniffing. Like, you can tell he wants the puck, and he's always around the net and looking. So I can see once he hits that, we could go on a bit of a streak maybe now until he hits that record, and then maybe we might drop off a little bit. But I think individual records are kind of pushing this team now. Like, the team was playing for Getzlaf, and now I think the team is going to play for Terry. Yeah, I could very much see that. So.
Yeah, and then the rest of the season, play for Gibson, because don't want that man to go through the stress of last year again.
Yeah, no kidding. I think every night is playing for Gibson, honestly.
Yeah, really.
Honestly, I know that we can't do it, but if he sticks around and after Getzlaf leaves, I honestly think that we shouldn't name an official captain, and we should give Gibson the C. Like,
you think so?
I think so.
Polo Wongo from in the early 2010s?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I know I asked you a few weeks ago, like, what the A on his mask was for, and then you were like, oh, it's Captain America, you idiot. But like, I honestly thought that it was for,
come on.
I honestly thought it was an A for like alternate captain, like kind of unofficial alternate captain, right? So and he's been around for a long time. He's very vocal, I think, and I can see him just kind of as a bit of a leader in the dressing room and on the ice. He's always talking to the players and kind of getting involved in plays and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think that at the very least he should be given an alternate captaincy. But even C, I could see, at least until Zegras is ready. I don't know, but
you think it's going to be Zegras? If we're looking like way into the future?
You look at what he does on, like, say, the power play already, how he's kind of directing directing the play a little bit and how vocal he is on the bench and on the ice, he definitely has the qualities of a leader. So it's obviously
I wasn't doubting it. I was just
I know,
kind of curious. So
yeah, I think it's too early to name him captain now.
Yeah, it's way too early,
but yeah, I think. I mean, I could see him being an A next season or the season after.
Yeah,
depending. I mean, you can't really take it away from Silverberg or Fowler or whatever, but once the spot opens up, I could see him getting one.
Yeah, but then again, not to say that like the guy who's been around the longest is the one to get it.
No,
right? So
yeah. And I mean,
I know he was pissed about it, but like take a look in St. Louis, right? It was given to Ryan O'Reilly over Tarasenko.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, or even Brady Tkachuk, right? I guess he's kind of one of the longer tenured now, but like,
well, yeah,
he was just
giving it different.
He was just giving it in Ottawa, right? And the guy's like 23. So, but
yeah,
or I mean, they're not at that level, obviously, but both Crosby and McDavid in their second seasons being given the C, or even Landeskog, right? Because he was the youngest actually for a while there until McDavid took it.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's just more just if you have those qualities. So.
Yeah, and I see that with Zegras. So I don't know, with how much they seem to baby him and like take him just one step at a time. I could see him getting the A for a couple of years first, but yeah.
Honestly, more than Zegras, my front runners, if I'd had to pick like a young guy to be it, Terry or Drysdale.
Yeah, I think so too. I haven't really seen much in terms of like leadership on the ice from them, and obviously we don't see anything from off the ice. But I would be I wouldn't be surprised if they got an A or a C. So because they are huge parts of this team, obviously. So
100%.
Like I guess also you give certain letters to players that maybe aren't like your traditional vocal in the dressing room kind of leaders, but like lead by example on the ice kind of leaders. And Terry and Drysdale are definitely that. So.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll have to dive into that more, I think, in the off season, depending on if Getzlaf comes back and trades. Yeah,
basically,
and stuff
let's hold it until we figure out if Getzlaf's coming back or not.
Yeah,
if he's gone. So
yeah, that'll be some good off season content for us. So, anything else you want to add about these upcoming games? I think we got a little distracted there, but
no, I think I'm good with it. So, like I said, I'm confident actually going into these games. So
okay. Well, before
last year, me would be like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Yeah, yeah, it would not look good. But I'm glad that you're confident. So before we get into what's quacking here, let's take another quick break, and then we'll talk about just random bullshit like we obviously
we
love
always
to do.
What's up, everybody? It's Jerem from the Hockey Podcast Network's newest show, the Windy City Benders Podcast. My co-host Tanner and I bring our unique takes on Blackhawks hockey.
Us on this show have been a pro Carlton guy. He's the right coach for the situation.
Giving it to our rivals.
That's one of the things that kind of sucks. I wish we would have had the Blues in our division this year because our trash.
As well as bringing in some guests from the NHL.
Please welcome to the show goaltender Scott Darling, the Eagle himself, Ed Belfour,
Brian Bickle,
David Boland,
Letterkenny.
The show started out with basically a beer league hockey team.
And anybody who loves the game. Find us on all your favorite podcast apps, the Hockey Podcast Network website, and on social media at WCB Podcasts.
In that promo there, they talked Letterkenny really quickly, and that was I forget the actor's name offhand though, but I could recognize who it was. This week they announced that the 10th season of Letterkenny is coming out on Christmas Day here in Canada, Boxing Day in the States. I am excited for another season of that show, and I'll probably binge it within a day. Not gonna lie.
I can't believe they're on season 10. I don't think I've watched since like season 4 or 5, but
yeah. Well, I guess like each season they're kind of like half year ones, right?
Yeah, they're pretty short. Like like, what, 6 episodes?
Yeah, something like that, 6 or 8. So they're not they're not very long. They're only like 20 minutes. So
yeah, that's a show I like. It's dumb, but it's still kind of entertaining.
Yeah, and it's very relatable, like for us, because where we're from originally, I feel like is very much on a little bit of a larger scale.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah.
If you haven't seen Letterkenny yet, it is honestly one of the better TV shows I feel like to come out of Canada. and yeah, you definitely got to check it out. So
Yeah,
I'll give those
absolutely.
guys a shout out. I love that show.
Yeah.
And I did get to go see it live a few years ago when I came through town, and that was great. And girlfriend had won like VIP meet and greets before the show and stuff like that, and got to meet the cast and whatever. So that was really cool. So but the best was the best was the coach telling me that's fucking embarrassing. So I'd asked him to say, I was one of those people. I asked him to say the line, right? And he's like, well, I can't yell right now. And I'm like, no, you don't have to yell. I just want to hear it. I was like, I coach like a university intramural team. And they like when I act like you. And so I just got a clip of him. It's fucking embarrassing.
Nice.
So, yeah. All right.
For what's quacking here, you got something that's gonna learn us something today.
You're
gonna learn educated. Yeah.
So IGN had put out this article with the title of Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet snap in Infinity War and I guess Endgame, even though he didn't snap, was impossible, scientists say. And right away you look at that headline and you're like, well, no shit kind of deal. But I wanted to read the actual article to see what they were talking about. And I understand the science behind it. So it's basically the talk that this was a research study by the Georgia Institute of Technology that found that the act of Thanos snapping his fingers while wearing the Infinity Gauntlet was actually impossible to pull off. So just going into the science of this, basically. So a finger snap is the fastest acceleration of the human body ever measured. And the physics involved should be impossible for Thanos while wearing the gauntlet. But
he's not human, so like
no. But the study says the acceleration of a finger while it's snapping is incredibly high, 3 times as fast as the acceleration of a professional baseball player's arm during a pitch. A snap only takes 7 milliseconds, which is more than 20 times faster than the blink of an eye. In order to pull off such a fast maneuver, the study says that the most important component is friction. Researchers found that attempting to snap while wearing metal gloves doesn't generate enough friction.
Okay, wait. They made people put metal gloves on and ask them to snap?
Apparently.
Wild. Where do you even find metal gloves?
I'm sure you just get them built by an Asgardian blacksmith, right?
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Yeah.
So it's pretty much just because of the gauntlet itself, he wouldn't be able to snap. So, which I love the science behind it. Like there's been a couple like specials, I guess, for like the science of Star Wars and people showing like how close we could be to a real lightsaber and stuff like that. And it seems like the problem with that right now is
not enough kyber crystals.
I mean that, but it's trying to. It's possible to create essentially like a lightsaber beam, but it has to be between like 2 circuits essentially. Whereas a lightsaber is just coming from one end, so it's like, how do you get that to stop at a certain point and whatever? But yeah, like in a way, that science is actually kind of close and stuff like that. Like I like that kind of stuff of like, here, let's take something that's totally not realistic and see if we can actually make it realistic. So there was another thing I saw as well this week that apparently scientists are actually like very close to basically being able to like create a Jurassic Park, and everybody in the comments is like, did they not watch the movies? Like,
why would you want to do that?
We should not be doing this.
No. That's an awful idea.
It's the whole point of the movies is to say, do not do this shit.
Yeah.
like we're going on insane. 6 movies now about that.
Yeah.
The best though about this though was the Twitter comments. I felt like,
of course,
for the Thanos snapping his fingers, because you read just the headline, and that's what a lot of people do. That will react to just the headline, right? And like but that's where some of the best content comes from, I believe. One of the I really like this one though. If it's impossible, then how did Thanos do it? Checkmate, scientists. What else did we find here though? This one was probably my favorite. You know what else is impossible? The existence of a purple 8-foot tall alien that has a ball sack for a chin. And then somebody replied, though, that's not quite true. There might be a Thanos, or there might not be. The universe is too vast for us to know.
Mhm.
He's got a point.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That's the whole
We have
idea
no
of the
idea.
multiverse, right? You have no idea what's going on right now.
Yeah.
For yourself in another universe, another timeline kind of thing, right? Like,
Mhm.
instead of me sitting here talking about the Ducks or that, I could actually be a player on the Ducks. Like, you don't know, right? In
Okay, well,
different
let's try and keep things realistic here.
But like, just so you're saying that's not as realistic as a purple alien with taking a bunch of magic stones and eliminating half of life in the universe. All right,
That's exactly what I'm saying. Burn.
One of my favorites though was like this thread that was, like, this is the idea of, like, not everything is clumped into one, right? You have different categories and stuff like that. So somebody had commented, shouldn't scientists be trying to find a cure for cancer or something, like, instead of doing this? And someone replies, I mean, not all scientists research cancer. Like, I don't see a physicist or a marine biologist doing much for cancer research. And so then somebody replied to that, like, this just became a joke basically in this thread. Still, they should be researching and just spending more time on more important shit than how a device from a fictional story works. I went into a completely different thread here on this one, actually. Somebody then goes, well, with that logic, you should be doing more important shit too, but here you are. That's not the one I was going for.
Man.
But
Twitter comments are awesome, man.
Oh, yeah, Twitter's great, honestly. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. Maybe that's why we still haven't found a cure. We need to get all the top physicists and marine biologists on curing cancer ASAP. And the one guy's like, I'll tell one of my professors to start searching the coral for a cure. Just stuff like that. But yeah,
imagine if it was that obvious. Like,
yeah,
all you do is,
exactly.
like, rub some coral on your skin and boom.
Oh my
you're
God.
cured.
I like this one because it kind of falls in line with like those explain a movie badly kind of thing and guess the movie. So it's like Purple Man from space who speaks English, snaps fingers in a magic glove made by a legendary Asgardian blacksmith, and destroys half of all life with a power of 6 magic stones is impossible. Money well spent.
I think realistically though, like you could just chalk it up to him having the power stone. I guess not.
I was actually
but-
just gonna say, somebody put a comment in here that kind of puts like a real life science into the impossible aspect of it. Thanos snapping would not be possible according to physics. Gee, if only he had some sort of magic glove and a stone that allowed him to break the laws of physics, which we saw him do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So makes it possible, right? So because you'd put the same argument to Iron Man doing the snap as well, right? Or the Hulk, because they had the gauntlet on, right? They had a piece of metal on their fingers, or on their hands, right? So
yeah, they're literally the master of everything in the universe at that point. Like,
exactly.
If they want to snap their fingers, they can snap their fingers if they want. Like, like
So-
they can make it happen. So
Yeah.
I mean,
But I was just loving going through like the comments, especially. I like the science behind it. I'm like, oh, okay, makes sense. That's cool. But yeah, the comments are the best part. Just even something as simple as "No shit, Captain Obvious." Then somebody comments, "I've heard Captain Obvious is set for their own origin story in Phase 5."
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
Captain Obvious and Spider-Man need a team up. I feel like that's the perfect pairing for that.
Absolutely.
Or Deadpool and Captain Obvious.
And Spider-Man. All three.
Yeah, but
Put
I was
them
going to say,
together.
once we have Deadpool in this universe, though, as well, I need a Deadpool Spider-Man team up. Because those comics where that happened, those are great.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
Because it's like, it's Spider-Man who's the jokester and everything like that, being so sick of the jokes that Deadpool's pulling off, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, it just kind of flips everything. And it's funny to read.
Yeah,
So,
it's a good dynamic for sure.
yeah, just I'm just like, okay, here's one more. So they say the issue is you can't snap fingers with a metal gauntlet due to friction required. But surely, as this is an alien metal with unknown qualities being worn by an alien with unmeasured strength, this is a pointless comparison, on top of the fact that it's all fictional.
Man, I miss the days when like you could just like
enjoy something.
Yeah, exactly. Without having like people like not saying the scientist ruined it, but like why can't they just like do this study and then people be like, okay, cool. Like why do people have to try and ruin it, you know?
I do
but also,
like
fuck the scientists for trying to ruin my Thanos snap.
I do like this one though. Imagine how surprised they'll get when they study Westview from WandaVision. I like that. I do like that Marvel is like definitely leaning more into their source stuff, right? With just how wild some of the stuff is, right?
And how like not to say that it's not realistic, but trying to break out of like everything has to be realistic.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was such a thing with superhero movies for a while, right? Mainly because of the Dark Knight trilogy, which great trilogy, and I love what they did with that. But then everything tried to do it, right? Like the Andrew Garfield one was kind of trying to do that too, have it be like more grounded and whatnot. And there's definitely some properties that I would love to see in like a more grounded sense. Like there was a fan short film that was like it was the Power Rangers actually being like real world grounded and stuff like that. And that was kind of interesting. And they had I forget the actor's name offhand, but the guy who played like the original Green Ranger, White Ranger, Tommy Oliver, who's shown up multiple times throughout the series. But I believe he actually shows up in that fan film as like his Tommy Oliver and stuff like that as well, but like in this grittier, more realistic reality, like stuff like that would be kind of cool to see, honestly. So, but
it definitely works, but not everything has to be.
Yeah, there was just that moment with superhero movies that like, everything had to be gritty and realistic and stuff like that to almost a depressing state. I think personally with the Marvel movies, the Winter Soldier did it the best, where like it still felt realistic, but obviously still had that that superhero feel to it at the same time, right? So but because like even the DC movies like tried to do that a little bit with their universe at first, and it didn't work out as great. Like I like the idea of what if Superman was actually real, kind of thing, like how would humankind react to it and that sort of thing. But then I think it kind of had to change a little bit, but I don't know.
I mean some of the better DC movies just aren't like that. Like you look at Aquaman, like it. Yeah,
exactly.
Most of it takes place in an underwater city that
the dude can breathe underwater and talk to fish.
And with like no explanation why.
No explanation.
He can do this. There is no need to ground it in reality, as you say. But like some of the ones like the first Superman movies. Not to say that they were bad movies, but they very much were like this is like the real world. Especially the second one. This is like the real world impact that that happened because of the first movie. Like, look at all the innocent people that died. Look at all the destruction that was caused. All this and
exactly.
That. And it's like, okay, but like, can't we just pretend that this stuff doesn't matter because it's a superhero movie kind of thing?
Yeah. It does create interesting dynamics and whatnot, but there's sometimes where it totally works, like with the Dark Knight, but then when it feels too done by the time you get to like Batman v Superman, something like that, then it's like, okay, we could use a little bit of a break, something different and whatever. So
like to compare it to Civil War, because I think that's the more direct comparable. It's not like they still dealt with some real world impacts in Civil War, but it wasn't like I don't know, it was just less realistic. It's like, okay, we want to regulate superheroes, and like, okay, now there's two sides of this argument fighting within the superhero world, and it was still a superhero movie that it didn't really deal with those real world issues, but kind of did. Just it was like the main plot point, but they didn't talk about it all the time,
or even take a look at the first Iron Man movie, right? Was like, instead of being, because that character has real world origins, right? Like in the comics it was set in like the Vietnam War and stuff like that, but during the time that it was in 2007 2008, it was Afghanistan or or Iraq. I forget. I think it's Afghanistan that movie took place in.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where it got set in, right? And it was dealing with those ramifications and stuff like that. So
yeah,
but
it's not like it was central to the story. It was just
exactly. Well, I mean,
setup. So
to a point, it was
to a point. Yeah.
So, but then after that, then you start to go into the more outlandish that Marvel is, right? But still, like Marvel always keeps a foot on the ground at least with having like real cities, right? Like New York and stuff like that, compared to DC, which is Metropolis, Gotham, stuff like that. So So
Anyways, we could probably talk about this for forever,
could.
But bottom line is the Thanos snap couldn't actually happen unless you're an 8-foot tall, purple, ball-sack chinned alien. But that can break the laws of physics because you have magical rocks.
That ball sack joke has been around for so long, and I think it just shows
hilarious.
how juvenile my humor is that I still laugh at it.
It's just like farts. It's never not going to be funny.
Exactly. Pretty much. So.
Yeah. But Nate, where can they tell you all about how unrealistic Marvel movies are?
You can send that to me at Tatenamas, TATENHOMAS, and I will tell you that you are wrong.
You can also do that at Quack Report Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, pretty much any social media that you want. And you can follow myself at Carter_Pots, POTTS_97. Thank you guys very much for listening and checking it out on YouTube. If you've done so, make sure to like, subscribe, 5 stars. See you guys next time.